And we have been joined now by Baylor's athletic director, Mack Rhoades. Mack, welcome to you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's great to see everybody.
This is fun.
Yeah,
nice
this
crowd.
is fun. This is a great place. So thanks to the Bear Foundation for putting this together. So really, really cool place.
Very well done. Do you sense, what is your sense of the excitement level among the Baylor family for this bowl game?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement. I was talking to the director of the Texas Bowl yesterday, and he said it was going to be a Baylor crowd on Tuesday. So the Baylor fans have you've all done a great job of coming on out and supporting the team, and so grateful for you. So we're going to have to make a lot of noise.
Yeah. Really good. And how about this season by Coach Aranda and the staff and the team? But to start out 0-3 in conference, finish with a bullet, 6 straight wins. What a finish! What a second half of the year.
Yeah, I mean it. I remember vividly sitting there at 2-4 and had the bye week and just thinking about that bye week and. I knew that we had an opportunity to go on a run because our kids, our staff had stayed focused. Coach Aranda was unbelievable in terms of the staff, in terms of our student athletes. The locker room was really, really healthy. The culture was, kids were really upset, right? Our players really upset after a couple of those losses, obviously, but they just stayed together. Mm-hmm. And so you could just feel it. You weren't sure, right? That was a big mountain to climb, after 2-4, but felt great certainly after the Texas Tech game. And I would say that Coach Aranda and his staff, when I think about across the country, and because of my role on the CFP, just having to watch so many games, they did as good a job as any staff in the country coming out of bye weeks. I mean, they really did a great job during bye weeks and cleaning up some things and improving some things that they needed to do. So great second half of the season. Every game was just felt like a win or die situation, and but it was great to see us come together and really flip momentum, and you could feel it as our confidence is everything when you think about a football team, and when your players and even your staff starts to gain confidence and that snowball starts to roll downhill, you could just see that happening. And with every snap, with every play, with every game, our kids, our players, our staff just gained a bunch of confidence.
So, Mack, let's just kind of revisionist, but if you're sitting there like the day before the Tech game and, high leverage moment really for everything at 2-4, from an AD's perspective, I mean, kind of what kind of things are running through your mind, and kind of what were you, thinking after observing kind of the last, couple weeks of practice and meeting with the coaches?
Yeah, I think mentally, quite frankly, I was struggling a little bit. I see my wife out there, Amy, and I see Brad sitting there, and Brad and I had this conversation. And I think I was a little bit ticked off at God going, hey, what is going on here? I mean, we have an individual that is so good for this institution, so good for our players, right?
Right.
Who suspends their two of their best players the morning of the BYU game, knowing what's on the line, right? Yeah. Because he didn't care. It wasn't about him. It was about those two players and a life lesson that was going to be, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years beyond. And so, and I just, was struggling through that going, man, we are so close and we're right here, and why is this happening? And then just, hey, man, you got to dump all of it and just trust in him, and let's go play these next games and see how it rolls. And man, we played. I really believe by the last game, after the Kansas game, we were one of the best teams in the country. The way we were playing. So again, great credit to Coach Aranda and the staff and our players.
I mean, what a great opportunity the way started the season 2-4, able to go on that 6-game win streak, and putting us in a situation we're sitting here in Houston, about to play LSU in the Texas Bowl. I mean, from where we started the season to where we are now, I mean, what a great tell of this story. If we can finish the season 9-4 from starting 2-4, I mean, I think that's a testament to Coach Aranda, his staff, the players, we have and hope to retain most of those players. And so, I mean, I just think the way the season has gone, I mean, it's not over, but it's super exciting to sit where we're sitting now and what we're talking about right now. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think, Bryce, I appreciate that, and I think, we're in a good spot right now. You always got to be careful and cautious and never take anything for granted in the new world that we're living in, because everything is changing every single day. And we're going to have to get really comfortable being uncomfortable about change. And it just is, right? The change, the transformation of a roster from one day to the next, et cetera. And I think, again, our staff's done a wonderful job when we think about, signing day and the December 4th through the 6th, and then, how we've navigated the transfer portal. And, we've had some young men leave that I think was good for them and was probably good for our program. I think we brought in some great young men as well. After the bowl game, we're going to have to go through that process again. There's that 5-day window after the bowl game that you can go into the transfer portal, even though it's officially closed now. And so just continuous change, but I feel like we've been in a really, really good spot. And I think over the 6 games, there were just some really cool moments to celebrate the 13 and 14 championship team and to win, a game-winning field goal against TCU. Man, that was awesome, right? To go to West Virginia, and we had never, I'd never won there, that's for sure, not in football, but we were 0-8 going into that place, and being able to win there, and then. The way we finished it, I thought just in commanding fashion against a Kansas team that, we're sitting there in the CFP room talking about Kansas, beating a ranked BYU team, a ranked Iowa State team, a ranked Colorado team, right, coming in playing as well as anybody in the country. So it was a really cool finish to the season.
You, Mack, mentioned it. You were on the CFP selection committee this year. Ward Manuel was the head of the CFP selection committee. And what was
Bless
that?
Him.
At the end of that process, what are your takeaways from your first year on that committee?
Yeah, I think one, I really enjoyed it. Great people. I think for everybody in this room, so cool to be with Coach Grobe again. Love him, and such a wonderful human being, and just to be able to spend time with him. But then, had the opportunity to spend time with Coach Pinkel, which we were together at Missouri, and one of my best friends in the business, Hunter Yurchek, the athletic director of Arkansas. It was his first year, and so just the people, the entire committee, just a lot of fun just to be around, and made the job just enjoyable and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of, if you're going to do it well, it takes a lot of time. You watch a lot of film. I've watched more film probably in that, particularly that 5-week period of time probably than I have in my entire life. Right? We would start film it on Sunday at about 9 a.m. and finish about midnight, and then we're back doing it again that Monday morning. But great process. Again, for us, the committee just focused on ranking 1 through 25. It'll be interesting to see here in the future, the immediate future. This is the upcoming year is the last year of the current CFP contract, and if the commissioners get together, and I know there's been a lot of conversation in terms of the bracket and how everything is bracketed, and so will there be any immediate changes, or will we wait until the start of the new CFP contract? So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But again, I've said it before, it's a blessing, it's an honor. Couldn't have done it. It's part of it's a we appointment. It's because of just all of the good things that are happening at Baylor. I've got great staff out there, and I know Jovan and David Kane. I see Brent and others around that I think they're back in their own corner there. Cody Hall and Kenny Boyd, and just all of them did such a great job of just keeping everything together while I was doing that for 5 weeks.
That's great. You mentioned some of your former connections, former places. We're back in Houston. You were here at one point. You mentioned this Texas Bowl is looking like a Baylor crowd. How great is it to land here in Houston?
Yeah, it really is, and it's great to be back here. This is a great city, and Amy and I and the girls enjoyed living here. I think we're here for about 5.5 years, and so have great friends and great time. And the people, the Texas Bowl, they really do a terrific job. David Fletcher, the director, has been a longtime friend, and he called me and said, hey, would you guys be excited to come? And we said absolutely. And they've done a great job. And I think our staff and the staff's families and our student athletes have really enjoyed it. So I think it's time to play ball, though. So
That's right.
We're ready to go. So,
yeah, just last thing on kind of that administrative stuff. So you did the CFP, kind of just overarching with, kind of what college athletics is. I mean, like, what do you see as kind of the next step for college athletics now that it's almost semi-pro ball, right?
This is only a 90-minute show.
That's right.
Okay,
but
so
I mean, just a very
a
summarized version of kind of what do you see as the next step, man?
Yeah, so, I think one, right, the whole House settlement, we haven't had final approval yet, and so we're anticipating that on April 7th. And, I think signs, everything looks like that will happen, right? And I think once that happens, we're really going to have to wait for about, I think, 18 months to see how the dust settles, right?
Yeah.
I don't personally, this is my opinion, I don't think, where we're at today, okay, it's not sustainable. And it's not sustainable for anybody, truthfully. And, you've seen, some casualties because of it. You've seen some coaches, that still had years remaining, good years remaining. I think about Tony Bennett, and I think about Jay Wright and others, right? That just, hey, this isn't for me anymore. And so, I'm hoping here again in about 12 to 18 months, dust settles, and we really figure out how we do this. And I think what's gotten lost in all of this is our young people, right?
Yeah.
What is best for our young people, and at the end of the day, college athletics takes place at a place of higher education, right? Yeah. And we get lost that, hey, most of these young people are not going to go on and make a living, right?
Right.
And so this time, right, spent at a Baylor University or elsewhere, man, it has to be real-time, quality time, going to class, getting your education, all of those things, right? So that when it's done, you're prepared for life. And man, that's where I get really disappointed, because we're not talking about that right now, amongst all of this. And we've got to find a way and a time and a place to get back to that, right? And I think we can continue to be really competitive when we think about big-time college athletics and not lose that. And if we lose that, quite frankly, we're failing our young people. And again, we need to be really mindful of that. And that's why I think Baylor is so blessed, because we've got a great president, we've got a great chair in terms of Chair Mears is here and President Livingstone, and we've got great coaches that really do believe that. And we can't lose that. And, I said it before, this is a 10-round heavyweight fight. We're probably in round 3 or 4, and we're going to take some body blows. Wow. And we have. And but when we get to round 9 or 10, Baylor's going to remain standing, and I really believe that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
That's one question.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a short answer.
That was a short answer, right?
On that question. Mack, we appreciate you. I love to introduce you as the best athletic director in the country, and you said, you don't have to do that. And I said, I mean it. And folks, don't we agree? Best athletic director in the country,
Great job.
Mack Rhoades. Thank you
You're
very
the
much.
best. So,
Thanks for being
guys.
here.
Thank you all.
All right, Mack, let's finish it out with a win on Tuesday. Mack Rhoades, Baylor's Director of Athletics.